Chapter 4 of Scanners Live in Vain by Cordwainer Smith. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 4. Martel grabbed wildly for his belt light. Chang, guessing ahead, had his light out and ready. Its bright beam voting no, shone straight up at the ceiling. Martel got his light out and threw its beam upward in descent. Then he looked around. Out of the 47 present, he could see only 5 or 6 glittering. 2 more lights went on. Womack stood as erect as a frozen corpse. Womack's eyes flashed as he stared back and forth over the group, looking for lights. Several more went on. Finally, Womack took the closing stance. May it please the scanners to count the vote. 3 of the older men went up on the rostrum with Womack. They looked over the room. Martel thought, these damn ghosts are voting on the life of a real man, a live man. They have no right to do it. I'll tell the instrumentality. But he knew that he would not. He thought of Lucy and what she might gain by the triumph of Adam Stone. The heartbreaking folly of the vote was then almost too much for Martel to bear. All 3 of the tellers held up their hands in unanimous agreement on the sign of the number. 15 against. Womack dismissed them with a bow of courtesy. He turned and again took the stance. I am the senior and take command. Marveling at his own daring, Martel flashed his belt light on. He knew that any one of the bystanders might reach over and twist his heart box to overload for such an act. He felt Chang's hand reaching to catch him by the air coat, but he eluded Chang's grasp and ran, faster than a scanner should, to the platform. As he ran, he wondered what appeal to make. It was no use talking common sense. Not now. It had to be law. He jumped up on the rostrum beside Womack and took the stance. Scanners, an illegality. He violated good custom while speaking, still in stance. A committee has no right to vote death by a majority vote. It takes 2/3 of a full meeting. He felt Womack's body lunge behind him, felt himself falling from the rostrum, hitting the floor, hurting his knees and his touch-aware hands. He was helped to his feet. He was scanned. Some scanner he scarcely knew took his instruments and toned him down. Immediately Martel felt more calm, more detached, and hated himself for feeling so. He looked up at the rostrum. Womack maintained the stance, signifying order. The scanners adjusted their ranks. The 2 scanners next to Martel took his arms. He shouted at them, but they looked away and cut themselves off from communication altogether. Womack spoke again when he saw the room was quiet. A scanner came here cranched. Honorable scanners, I apologize for this. It is not the fault of our great and worthy scanner and friend Martel. He came here under orders. I told him not to decranch. I hoped to spare him an unnecessary Haberman. We all know how happily Martel is married, and we wish his brave experiment well. I like Martel. I respect his judgment. I wanted him here. I knew you wanted him here. But he is cranched. He is in no mood to share in the lofty business of the scanners. I therefore propose a solution which will meet all the requirements of fairness. I propose that we rule Scanner Martel out of order for his violation of rules. This violation would be inexcusable if Martel were not cranched. But at the same time, in all fairness to Martel, I further propose that we deal with the points raised so improperly by our worthy but disqualified brother. Womack gave the sign. The honorable scanners are pleased to vote. Martel tried to reach his own belt light. The dead strong hands held him tightly, and he struggled in vain. One long light shone high. Chang's, no doubt. Womack thrust his face into the light again. Having the approval of our worthy scanners and present company for the general proposal, I now move that this committee declare itself to have the full authority of a meeting, and that this committee further make me responsible for all misdeeds which this committee may enact, to be held answerable before the next full meeting, but not before any other authority beyond the closed and secret ranks of scanners. Flamboyantly this time, his triumph evident, Womack assumed the vote stance. Only a few lights shone, far less patently than a minority of 1/4. Womack spoke again. The light shone on his high, calm forehead, on his dead, relaxed cheekbones. His lean cheeks and chin were half-shadowed, save where the lower light picked up and spotlighted his mouth, cruel even in repose. Womack was said to be a descendant of some ancient lady who had traversed in an illegitimate and inexplicable fashion some hundreds of years of time in a single night. Her name, the Lady Womack, had passed into legend, but her blood and her archaic lust for mastery lived on in the mute, masterful body of her descendant. Martel could believe the old tales as he stared at the rostrum, wondering what untraceable mutation had left the Womack kith as predators among mankind. Calling loudly with the movements of his lips, but still without sound, Womack appealed. "The Honorable Committee is now pleased to reaffirm the sentence of death issued against the heretic and enemy Adam Stone." Again the vote stance. Again Chang's light shone lonely in its isolated protest. Womack then made his final move. "I call for the designation of the senior scanner present as the manager of the sentence. I call for authorization to him to appoint executioners, one or many, who shall make evident the will and majesty of scanners. I ask that I be accountable for the deed, and not for the means. The deed is a noble deed, for the protection of mankind, and for the honor of the scanners. But of the means it must be said that they are to be the best at hand, and no more. Who knows the true way to kill an other, here on a crowded and watchful earth? This is no mere matter of discharging a cylindered sleeper, no mere question of upgrading the needle of a Haberman. When people die down here, it is not like the up and out. They die reluctantly. Killing within the earth is not our usual business, O brothers and scanners, as you know well. You must choose me to choose my agent as I see fit. Otherwise the common knowledge will become the common betrayal, whereas if I alone know the responsibility, I alone could betray us. And you will not have far to look in case the instrumentality comes searching." "What about the killer you choose?" thought Martel. "He too will know unless you silence him forever." Womack went into the stance. The honorable scanners are pleased to vote. One light of protest shone. Chang's again. Martel imagined that he could see a cruel, joyful smile on Womack's dead face, the smile of a man who knew himself righteous, and who found his righteousness upheld and affirmed by militant authority. Martel tried one last time to come free. The dead hands held. They were locked like vices until their owner's eyes unlocked them. How else could they hold the piloting month by month? Martel then shouted, "Honorable scanners, this is judicial murder." No ear heard him. He was cranched and alone. Nonetheless, he shouted again, "You endanger the confraternity." Nothing happened. The echo of his voice sounded from one end of the room to the other. No head turned. No eyes met his. Martel realized that as they paired for talk, the eyes of the scanners averted him. He saw that no one desired to watch his speech. He knew that behind the cold faces of his friends there lay compassion or amusement. He knew that they knew him to be cranched, absurd, normal, man-like, temporarily no scanner. But he knew that in this manner the wisdom of scanners was nothing. He knew that only a cranched scanner could feel, with his very blood, the outrage and anger which deliberate murder would provoke among the others. He knew that the confraternity endangered itself, and knew that the most ancient prerogative of law was the monopoly of death. Even the ancient nations, in the times of the wars, before the beasts, before men went into the up and out, even the ancients had known this. How did they say it? Only the state shall kill. The states were gone, but the instrumentality remained, and the instrumentality could not pardon things which occurred within the earths but beyond its authority. Death in space was the business, the right of the scanners. How could the instrumentality enforce its laws in a place where all men who wakened only to die in the great pain? Wisely did the instrumentality leave space to the scanners. Wisely had the confraternity not meddled inside the earths. And now the confraternity itself was going to step forth as an outlaw band, as a gang of rogues as stupid and reckless as the tribes of the unforgiven. Martel knew this because he was cranched. Had he been Haberman, he would have thought only with his mind, not with his heart and guts and blood. How could the other scanners know? Womack returned for the last time to the rostrum. "The committee has met, and its will shall be done." Verbally, he added, "Senior among you, I ask your loyalty and your silence." At that point, the two scanners let his arms go. Martel rubbed his numb hands, shaking his fingers to get the circulation back into the cold fingertips. With real freedom, he began to think of what he might still do. He scanned himself. The cranching held. He might have a day. Well, he could go on even if Haberman, but it would be inconvenient having to talk with finger and tablet. He looked about for Chang. He saw his friend standing patient and immobile in a quiet corner. Martel moved slowly so as not to attract any more attention to himself than could be helped. He faced Chang, moved until his face was in the light, and then articulated. "What are we going to do? You're not going to let them kill Adam Stone, are you? Don't you realize what Stone's work will mean to us, if it succeeds? No more scanners, no more Habermans, no more pain in the up and out. I tell you, if the others were all cranched as I am, they would see it in a human way, not with the narrow, crazy logic which they used in the meeting. We've got to stop them. How can we do it? What are we going to do? What does Pereziansky think? Who has been chosen?" "Which question do you want me to answer?" Martel laughed. It felt good to laugh even then. It felt like being a man. "Will you help me?" Chang's eyes flashed across Martel's face as Chang answered, No. You won't help?" "No." "Why not, Chang? Why not?" "I am a scanner. The vote has been taken. You would do the same if you were not in this unusual condition." "I'm not in an unusual condition. I'm cranched. That merely means that I see things the way that the others would. I see the stupidity, the recklessness, the selfishness. It is murder." "What is murder? Have you not killed? You are not one of the others. You are a scanner. You will be sorry for what you are about to do if you do not watch out." "But why did you vote against Wehrmacht, then? Didn't you too see what Adam Stone means to all of us? Scanners will live in vain. Thank God for that. Can't you see it?" "No." "But you talk to me, Chang. You are my friend." "I talk to you. I am your friend. Why not?" "But what are you going to do?" "Nothing, Martel. Nothing." "Will you help me?" "No." "Not even to save Stone?" "No." "Then I will go to Pereziansky for help." "It will do you no good." "Why not? He's more human than you right now." "He will not help you, because he has the job. Wehrmacht designated him to kill Adam Stone." Martel stopped speaking in mid-movement. He suddenly took the stance. "I thank you, brother, and I depart." At the window, he turned and faced the room. He saw that Womack's eyes were upon him. He gave the stance. "I thank you, brother, and I depart," and added the flourish of respect which is shown when seniors are present. Womack caught the sign, and Martel could see cruel lips move. He thought he saw the words, "Take good care of yourself," but did not wait to inquire. He stepped backward and dropped out the window. Once below the window and out of sight, he adjusted his air coat to maximum speed. He swam lazily in the air, scanning himself thoroughly and adjusting his adrenal intake down. He then made the movement of release and felt the cold air rush past his face like running water. Adam Stone had to be at Chief Downport. Adam Stone had to be there. Wouldn't Adam Stone be surprised in the night? Surprised to meet the strangest of beings, the first renegade among scanners? Martel suddenly appreciated that it was of himself he was thinking. Martel, the traitor to scanners. That sounded strange and bad. But what of Martel, the loyal to mankind? Was that not compensation? And if he won Lucy. If he lost nothing. An unconsidered and expendable Haberman. It happened to be himself. But in contrast to the immense reward, to mankind, to the confraternity, to Lucy, what did that matter? Martel thought to himself, Adam Stone will have 2 visitors tonight, 2 scanners, who are the friends of one another. He hoped that Pereziansky was still his friend. And the world, he added, depends on which of us gets there first. Multifaceted in their brightness, the lights of Chief Downport began to shine through the mist ahead. Martel could see the outer towers of the city and glimpse the phosphorescent periphery which kept back the wild, whether beasts, machines, or the unforgiven. Once more Martel invoked the lords of his chance. Help me to pass for an other. End of chapter 4.